transition to JR.
Hi guys, sorry I was late to the party. I just wasn't doing my job.
No, it's all good.
No?
The nice thing about Zoom is you can do it from anywhere, Coach, so I think we're good. We'll start with just maybe a few opening comments on this being kind of the official first day. I know you haven't hit the court yet, but just some excitement on the season, and then we'll open up to questions.
Yeah, well, I was actually just explaining to one of my freshmen that this day used to be the best day of the year, because for the previous 6 months, we hadn't been allowed to do anything other than have a few players on the court together and do conditioning for weeks and weeks on end. So it's a little bit, not quite as big of a climax at the end. But anyways, yeah, we're super excited about the opportunity to start official practice, knowing that games are just 6 weeks away. And, we love being on the court together. I heard Aubrey talking about what a competitive group, we have this year. And so our training has been really fun so far. And today, we have full practice gear and, film and everything is for real going forward. So we're pretty excited.
Great. And I'm assuming everyone will have a question. So Brian, we'll start with you.
Great.
Hey, Coach, nice to see you.
You too.
We've talked a couple times recently, but as you guys have gone through some of these workouts, and now that it is the first official day, from what you've seen from your team, how ready is this group on day one compared to your previous years?
Yeah, we are probably more ready than we've ever been, which is a weird thing because we missed the entire spring and a large portion of the summer. We only had about half our team here for part of the summer. But we're still a young ball club. I think we have 4 upperclassmen this year, maybe 5 upperclassmen. But our young players played a lot last year, and the players that returned, this year played a lot of minutes. And so we feel very ready. I'm glad we have those 6 weeks to practice and get ready for opponents. And especially with only having 3 preseason games this year and then jumping into Pac-12. But we are definitely further ahead than we've been in past years from a competitive, ready to go standpoint.
And then if I could ask a follow-up real quick, you mentioned 3 non-conference games. You mentioned when the announcement was first made that you'll play as many games as you're allowed. I think it's 25. Are you going to get that many in, or has it been difficult to try to fill that out?
It actually has been more difficult than we anticipated. Everyone had their preseason set, contracts signed, things like that. But with that being said, things are, if you can't play the game or teams don't want to play the game, we're not going to get to play it. So Coach T does our scheduling, and he's working really hard to try to get 3 local, games where neither team has to fly and things like that. But so I would say we have 1 that's agreed upon right now and 2 that are in the works, but we also are waiting for more information from the Pac-12. Our finals week makes it very difficult in the second week of December to play 2 conference games during that week. And so we're wondering if they're going to move them around. We just haven't been given any information. So it's very hard to solidify our preseason schedule until we've been given the actual dates of competition for the Pac-12. But still hoping to play all 3 to your original question.
Cheryl.
Hi, Coach. Nice to see your face.
Nice to see your pretty ocean in the background.
So I just wanted to ask you about, I was talking to the players about the, getting prepared for the season. How are you able to maybe keep your team motivated to stay in shape, to work out on their own and keep their hopes up for the season? And now that they're here, how do you think that's worked out?
Yeah, I would say the hardest time to keep them motivated was in the spring. When everything got shut down, our team basically all went home, as soon as everything got canceled and all of our classes went online. So I would say the couple of months after that were the hardest times to keep them motivated because there was so much uncertainty. Nowhere to train, nowhere to play. We're asking them to work on their ball handling in the driveway, or in the kitchen, and we're watching film, and there was no end in sight. There was nothing, really to look forward to other than just a hope that eventually we would get to come back and play. But since they've been back, like I said, we had half our team here this summer. for the most part, they came back very motivated. And now that everyone is here and everyone is training and feeling good, I don't have to do anything to motivate. Like, I think our team is still bitter, about some games that slipped away last year in the final possession. I think they're bitter that we lost our postseason play. I think they're motivated because we have some really, really great chemistry. We've got great leadership this year. And so I'm not having to do anything other than draw up the practice plan and, bring my whistle.
And to follow up really quickly, I mean, this is an unprecedented situation, but what are some lessons or any lesson that you've learned that you may have thought I've never had to, face this before, that will help you going forward, not just in the season, but in life in general?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think, players and coaches and people talk about play this game as if it's your last, because you never know, when something might be taken away from you. And I think that for the first time in all of our lives, we actually have experienced that, that we worked our tails off, we grew, we bled, sweat, and tears and all that to get ourselves in a position to play postseason. And then all of a sudden it was just gone. And so I think that lesson, like I said, we all have grown up hearing that, but I think that is actually real life for everybody right now. They know, our players know, our coaches know that if we don't make good decisions right now, the game can be taken from us, we could, all 20 of us could make great decisions. And if one person isn't doing what they're supposed to do from a socially distancing, masks, wash your hands, all that stuff standpoint, it can cost all of us. And so our team has really bought into sort of that philosophy of doing what we can for each other to make sure that we don't jeopardize our season.
Thanks and good luck.
Thank you. Great to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Henry.
Hey, JR.
Hey.
Jalen was really impressive last year as a freshman. What do you think she needs to improve upon to take a step forward in year two?
Yeah, she had a great freshman year, and was just very reliable, very dependable, especially at the point guard position, which is difficult to do for a young player. Jalen is also, what's more impressive than the basketball is that she's a very thoughtful, introspective person that wants to be coached and really wants to be great. A lot of us say, oh, I want to be the best I can be. But when it comes to being critical of ourselves or allowing criticism to come in and say, these are the areas you really need to get better, we don't all like to hear those things, but Jalen's the type of player that wants to hear those things. And she took it upon herself this spring and summer to recognize that in order to be a great leader, in order to be the player that she wants to be, she really wanted to work on the depth of her relationships with everybody in the program, because she is a very quiet person and kind of keeps to herself in some ways. And so she spent a lot of time with us, as coaches over Zooms and phone calls and things like that. She spent a lot of time with her teammates, really trying to know everyone on a deeper level. Because she wants to be a great leader, and she knew that she needed to do that. So that's one area that she has tackled, over the last 6-7 months. From a basketball standpoint, Jalen needs to continue to elevate her IQ and understanding of not just what she can do, but what everyone around her, is capable of doing and helping set people up for success around her. And then 3-point shooting, definitely she can blow by anybody, but she's worked really hard to improve the consistency of her shooting. And I think that will make things even easier for her on the court.
Corey.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you virtually.
You too.
I'm curious. I want to talk about the schedule, and I know there's a lot of things up in the air with this. Eventually, it was going to go to a 20-game schedule, and are you okay with doing that, seeing everybody a couple of times and really lining up against everybody? It was always so weird when the schedule would come out. I know you'd go, oh, well, we only get to play this team once. Yeah. And it'd be nice to see them twice. Or on the other side of things, oh, good, we only get to see them once, and then maybe we can see them in the tournament. But are you good with a balanced schedule?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it was interesting. One of the coaches in the conference made a great point. I thought that the teams that are typically about 5th through 9th place in the league are usually separated by one game every single year, and of those, say 4 or 5 teams, some of us did not have to go to Oregon or didn't get to play somebody twice. And so it's not exactly fair, in that regard. And so I think that a 22 game schedule for this season creates a level of parity, at least in who everyone is playing. Now it's going to be number 5 in the country, and then 9, and then 10, and 12. And, so every single game will be really difficult, as it is every year. For some of our young players, I'm disappointed that they don't get as many games to sort of prepare for that. Typically you play a preseason and you try to plan your preseason to where it's sort of a crescendo, that you are working your way up to the likes of an Oregon or Stanford. But, we'll, like I said to Brian, we'll get as many games in as we can. We'll do a lot of inter squad scrimmages and things like that to try to get ourselves game ready.
Yeah, and to follow up on that, you guys actually learned how to win on the road.
Yeah.
In those non-conference games. I really saw the growth in the team in that. It is disappointing you only get a few games, but I guess it's out of the fire, or out of the frying pan into the fire kind of situation. Now
Sure.
It is what it is.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, everyone that chose to come to Colorado they came here partly because they wanted to play in the Pac-12, and so here it is, ready or not, you getting more than than maybe you thought you signed up for, but it'll be exciting. And like I said, a level of parity. I mean, every single team is playing everybody. Hopefully we'll be able to get through the 22 games. And so I like that, but yeah, we will, hopefully one of our 3 games will be on the road, just locally on the road, get in your car and drive down there. So at least we'll be in a different gym.
Sorry, I'm kind of parked over near an airport here, so it's getting a little loud. I'll make sure I mute. This is my last question, but I did want to ask, I'm watching some players that are being allowed to get some eligibility. I was curious about Tay Jones from Georgetown. I know that the possibility was there, and you guys have filed stuff, but and even some of your younger players just coming in. I mean, again, it's going to be, you're going to have to put them right into the fire right away. But I'm curious if you're getting a break somewhere.
I don't know. It never seems like we do. We're going to have to create our own breaks, but I don't have any information or news on, as of right now, Tay is a Division I transfer, so she will redshirt this year. Everyone else is eligible and healthy and ready to play. So if we have any changes with Tay, I definitely will let you guys know, or we would announce it, I should say.
Well, it's good to see you. I hope we can see you on the court real soon in person.
Yes,
so.
me too. Me too. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Corey. Brian.
JR, I wanted to ask you, with Boulder County's orders in the last couple of weeks, they're obviously impacting football. They're in sort of a bubble-like situation at the hotel. What changes have you guys had to make to try to get ready for this? I mean, are there any different things? And I know you mentioned to me before the players have gotten used to the masks, but are there any other things that you guys as a staff or the players are going to have to get used to follow these Boulder County orders?
Yeah, well, nothing right now. When the order first came out, whoever helped to create our schedule, it was mostly Jill Mahoney on our staff, deserves an absolute gold star, because you can imagine trying to get 16 players by themselves with a coach in the gym all in the same day, plus the weight room. And so I think our staff did a great job of, and the other staffs in our building, volleyball, men's basketball, we did a great job of working together, to create an environment where our kids could continue to train. And so while we weren't able to be together, at least we were able to sort of continue, the momentum that we were trying to gain in the weight room and on the court. So no, I mean, we're just counting our blessings, and we've been that way ever since we were allowed to do anything. We've just said we just need to be thankful for what we get, and we'll expect some setbacks at some point in the season, because I think that's just sort of the world that we're in right now, but we'll remain positive and take whatever we can.
So as far as practice, that'll look pretty normal?
It will, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Will they be wearing, I know football's been wearing gaiters and they pull them up at times.
Yeah.
Are your girls going to be wearing gaiters?
They all kind of have their own thing that they like. Some kids like the gaiters, some like the actual masks. We've given them both. Some players like the blue, like the surgical mask, whatever people have gotten comfortable with. We don't really care, what they wear.
Okay. But some of them have to wear on the sidelines during practice, things like that? Okay.
Yep.
Cheryl, did you have a follow-up?
Yes. I wanted to ask you about all of the social justice movement going on in the country, you know, with the WNBA, with their season, the NBA, Pac-12 statements, actions on college campuses, and, you know, it's kind of ground zero for Colorado with a lot of things happening around the state. What does all that mean for you personally, and how have you had to help your players deal with these issues and so they feel safe and secure in their lives right now?
Sure.
Difficult times.
Well, as a group, we work to have, you know, great personal relationships with our players. So they're often, you know, up in the office, hanging out, spending time with us in that way. So we feel very comfortable talking about anything, you know, with our players. And so we have spent time talking about this. You know, we're comfortable being able to open up to each other about how is this affecting you, you know, personally, and being able to talk through those types of things. You know, but it's extremely important. It's important to me as a mother of African American children. It's important to me as, you know, a pseudo mother to all of our players. You know, so we spend time talking about the importance of using your voice, you know, to vote. Our team was entirely registered last spring, except for our one 17-year-old signee. She couldn't get registered, you know, until I think end of September. She turned 18. You know, so talking about the importance of those types of things and making sure that our players feel comfortable, you know, when being able to speak up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Henry.
In football, in the NFL, college football, we've seen a lot of soft tissue injuries. I know that you guys are on a little bit different schedule. It isn't quite as compressed, I don't think, as football has been. But is that something that's been on your mind? And are you guys doing anything differently because of those soft tissue injuries?
Yeah, it's definitely on our mind, you know, because for us, the biggest priority from the end of a season until the beginning of the season, I shouldn't say the biggest priority, but we put a huge emphasis on the weight room. You know, we really want to get bigger and stronger and, you know, put ourselves in a position to be durable through a 30-game season. And we lost a lot of that opportunity. But since our players have been back, again, some of them have been here since June. Some just got here at the end of August when school started. We've poured a lot of time and effort into the weight room and trying to gain strength. You know, we have our PT that works with the athletic department that's here, and a lot of our players are seeing him, you know, on a daily basis. We're mandating ice tubs and things like that. Not all of our players love the ice bath, but they're going to have to learn to love it because we have to be able to, you know, do every modality that at our disposal to recover and be prepared for the next day. We also are kind of easing into things. You know, we're not practicing for 3 hours and things like that. So there's a portion of practice, of course, that's live and very live. But there's also a portion of practice that's dedicated more to, you know, individual skill development and things like that.
Any other questions? All right, JR, thank you so much. Good luck this season. Get out there and after it on day one, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you guys coming by.
Thanks.
Thank
See
you.
you.